Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Adam, what day is it today?
Don't say it. Don't say it. It's a great day.
What day is it today?
It's Thursday.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
And what else?
May 19th. It's Thursday, May 19th.
It's Friday Eve, baby.
Two outstanding hockey games last night.
And it's a dreary Friday Eve.
Warriors crushed the Mavericks last night. Tigers lost again. No, we don't have to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it. What's up,
Tigers kind of win on occasion.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, you go a few days, no wins, and then, hey, they won, and then go back to the doldrums.
Yeah, around 9:16, we'll talk about the Tigers. Isaac Paredes. I have a story for you, and I don't think you'll believe me when I tell you the story about what exactly we witnessed yesterday. I don't think people really, truly understand what the hell happened in Tampa Bay last night, or, well, yesterday afternoon, technically.
You ever been to that stadium?
I haven't, no.
It's terrible.
I bet it is.
It's
Tropicana feel.
Mm-hmm. It's like a spaceship.
Oh, man. Terry, it's an interesting question. We'll start the show off with this. Is there a face of Detroit sports? And if so, who is it? And I'd also like to know your criteria, because if we think of faces of Detroit sports, I'm sure you go back to the 80s and 90s with Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
Hell, Barry Sanders. Even Ben Wallace at a time. I mean, that Fro skit was what you identified with the Pistons for a certain amount of years. Who is the face of the Detroit sports? And is there even one?
There is. And normally, I think of an athlete as the face of Detroit sports, and that's the way it should be. But I think when people think of Detroit sports outside of Detroit, it's Dan Campbell. I think he's full of so much bluster, and he's kind of funny, and he's unconventional. He is the face of Detroit sports. And the number 2 guy is Cade Cunningham, because he came in with the Buffs and people liked him, and he embraced Detroit openly, which very few athletes do the way that he did. So I think he's number 2. But if you're, I always go back to this. If you're sitting around in Tulsa and San Jose and Detroit sports comes up, who do you think of? In the past, we've thought of Barry Sanders, we've thought of Isaiah Thomas, we've thought of Steve Yzerman, we've thought of Gordie Howe, but the sports scene is so bad right now. I think it's the coach, and I don't know if I can ever recall when a coach was like the face of Detroit sports, but Dan Campbell is in my mind.
I think you're onto something with Dan Campbell as the face, especially nationally. Right now, all off season, people talking about the Lions, whether it's Dan Orlovsky, Mina Kimes, lots of national analysts giving praise to the Lions, which is okay, nice to see, but more so, it's always related to Dan Campbell, and that's what I've been noticing. And I'd have to agree, it is Dan Campbell. And I think by the end of this upcoming football season, it will either A, be Cade Cunningham, given by January he's just on a tear, or B, it'll stick and stay as Dan Campbell because he has proven that he's better than maybe most people give him credit for.
So we can get a flip before the end of the year.
So I think we'll get a flip by the end of the year. Yeah, it's very possible. Cade is, I think, in terms of players, the clear 1A.
Right.
And I don't think there's a player even close. I don't think there's any other player that can be right now the face of Detroit outside of Aiden Hutchinson, given the story. He plays a predominantly very important position on the field. If he develops into a 8, 9, 10 sack go-getter rookie year, a lot of people will be talking about Aiden Hutchinson. So I would watch out for that.
It should be, but it won't be, Mo Sider. Mo Sider's having a wonderful rookie year, but the NHL doesn't register as much as the other leagues, and the Wings are not winning games. So the publicity is so strong for the NBA and NHL that even if the Lions don't have a good season, Aiden Hutchinson could still be the runaway winner as face of Detroit, and so could Cade Cunningham.
It's tough with hockey, right? You have to be. Let me put it this way: Pavel Datsyuk. I think we all remember what a magician he was. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, he was always a top 5 player in the league during his 4 or 5 year stretch where he was basically unplayable. And the national perception was never really that high on Pavel. And that was a team with Lidstrom, Zetterberg, even McCarty was on that 2008 team. There was a lot of moments, a lot of players. Johan Franzen got a lot of love during the playoffs for, the mule during his performances. But with hockey, it's difficult.
Yeah, I think
unless
hockey,
you're Connor,
you have to have an 8, 9, 10-year run.
Not even that. You have to be Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin coming out of wherever the hell you're coming from, year one into the league. That's the only way. Nobody was talking about Sider in that fashion. Nobody was talking about Raymond. Raymond was selected, I believe, 4th in that draft. And, again, if you asked me who the face of the Edmonton sports scene is, it would obviously be Connor McDavid. And if you threw Edmonton and you told me they were in Dallas and he played for the Dallas Stars, who was the face of Dallas sports? It's not Dak Prescott. You could argue it's maybe Jerry Jones, but I would say it's Connor McDavid because he is that phenomenal. At hockey, you have to be so good. You have to be a 100-point getter. You have to win the Hart Trophy. You have to win the Ted Lindsay Award. You have to win these things individually. I don't think Sider can ever do it.
It's too soon, and he's got to sustain this for many, many, many years. But when I think of Dallas, I think of Jerry Jones. That's the first guy I think of. Or, Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic is definitely something you have to consider now. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, especially with the defenseman, right? We were fortunate to have Nicholas Lidstrom here.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't register.
And he didn't click. And he was never the face. And that's really interesting. Again, the hockey team has always been about the team, although there have been certain individuals that have been able to break it, and that's Gordie Howe and Steve Yzerman, even Sergei Fedorov. Why? Because of their individual greatness leads to scoring, and that's the only way, in my opinion, to get that national love, to be the face of a sports city. You have to be offensively dominant.
And you have to be from the NBA, NHL, not the NHL, but NBA, NFL, and probably third Major League Baseball. Because Major League Baseball is having a hard time promoting its stars. Because the people who are stars really don't want to be promoted in baseball, which is kind of weird.
Baseball has such an issue right now, but maybe for another day. Moving forward with this team, with the teams, I would put my money. I think Cade is the obvious choice as a player individually. I think it just makes so much sense. The NBA is all about the individual. The players have all the control, all the power, all the attention. So Cade's the easy one. I would say it's Aiden Hutchinson second, and third, if I had to be reasonable, I don't think anyone's going to be putting a left tackle on the cover of ESPN magazine anytime soon.
No, but Aiden is not there yet.
He's not there yet.
Played. But I would put Jared Goff ahead of Aiden Hutchinson right now because people know who he is. You have strong opinions on him.
Well, I'm talking moving forward, right?
Okay.
So let's say 2 years down the line, 3 years. I think you're talking about, for sure, Cade. Aiden Hutchinson, unless there is a franchise quarterback that is drafted and he is very good. Mm-hmm. The third would be, I think, a lock would have to be Spencer Torkelson.
Yes, he is. Or Riley Green.
And then you look to hockey. I don't know if Lucas Raymond or Mo Sider can be the face of this city. That's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, again, we had Nicholas Lidstrom here. We've had Pavel Datsuk. There have been some very good players post Yzerman that couldn't deliver at that level.
Well, they couldn't, and they weren't really put in a position to do that. You know, not only must you play to become a face of a city, but you have to have some type of personality. You have to do something that's spectacular. You have to do something that people remember. Red Wing players, for the most part, come in, play their little game, give you little bad sound bites, and go home. You don't know who they are. They could be walking up and down the street. You wouldn't know who they were. So that's a big difference right now. What have you done to make you stand out in the crowd?
I think that's why hockey's so difficult.
Right.
NBA, the individuals allowed and encouraged to shine. In football, in most positions, you are it's well documented if you're playing well. People do give you coverage and attention. Baseball, it is about the individual. The Shohei Ohtani is, if you are that good, like Miguel Cabrera was, you become the face of a sports town. Miguel Cabrera, for about 4 to 5 years, was a must-watch at-bat.
Right. I am sure some people still consider him a face of Detroit sports because he just got his 3,000th hit, just got 500 home runs, just joined an elite group of hitters. But what we see him as a guy that's not what he used to be. So it's hard.
It's a different phase of his career.
Right.
It's just totally different. And people are mentioning Dylan Larkin in the chat. Hell no. Dylan Larkin is not a face of Detroit sports right now. That's a very difficult thing to do. I'm telling you. You have to be so excellent, especially at the center position, to get that type of attention and love. I just brought up Zetterberg and Datsuk. Some of the finest centers this franchise has ever had. Mm-hmm. Never the face of...
I thought Larkin would register more because he's local.
Hometown boy, yep.
Captain. We weren't sure if he was going to... He played well last season.
But you can't play well in hockey. You have to be exceptional. It's such a weird dynamic. It really is. Unless you're Connor McDavid production good, which is insane. There's only maybe 3 players in hockey that can even come close to it. Maybe 4. Then you get the limelight and attention. And even then, who's staying up last night to watch Calgary and Edmonton? Not many people.
Fish.
Not many people saw Connor McDavid put up 4 points last night when the team was down 6-2. And single-handedly lead them to a comeback, even though they blew the game after. It didn't matter, but... hockey is interesting. I don't believe the individual is elevated enough because of how much of a team sport it truly is, unless you're just that exceptional.
Right, and you can make a case that hockey, in the grand scheme of things, is not the number 4 pro sport in America. You could put NASCAR ahead. Maybe it's the number 4 team sport, but you could put NASCAR ahead of the NHL.
People love their NASCAR, especially down south.
Up here, too. Michigan has got 2 races.
They do?
Yeah, so somebody must
one's
like
IndyCar. One's IndyCar, the other NASCAR.
No, they had 2 NASCAR races.
Do they have 2
here.
NASCAR races?
Yeah, for many years they've had 2 NASCAR races here.
Yeah, look, so moving forward, right? The face of this town. Moving forward, I think there's one clear person, individual as a player. That's Cade Cunningham. I think we both agree.
Yes.
And I like that you brought up Dan Campbell. I think he is the face right now. I think when people think of the Lions, they think of Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan Campbell. Kneecap-biting Dan Campbell. That is a thing. And ideally, there are players on the team, like an Aiden Hutchinson. Hell, again, the wide receiver position is so difficult. To be the face of a team, you have to be so exceptional. 1,500 yards, double-digit touchdown seasons. So Jamison Williams probably needs time to get there. But Aiden Hutchinson, I think, of all the players on the Lions right now, has the most potential. The story, the position he plays, it's a position that has not been good for the Lions over the last 6, 7, 8 years. I would put my money on Aiden to become the face of the Detroit Lions moving forward, unless either A, even if Jared Goff is successful, they're going to look for a franchise guy, and B, when they get that franchise quarterback, that guy will become the face of your football team, just like any other team in the NFL. You have a quarterback, that's the face of your franchise.
Right. Don't fall asleep on Jamison Williams for this reason. If he becomes really good, becomes that 1,400 to 1,500 yard guy, he will start yapping because that's what wide receivers do. Look at me. Look what I've done. And none of them get the ball enough. So he could become the face of Detroit, and not always in a good way, but just, he'll have the best sound bites. And I don't know how Aiden Hutchinson is a guy that talks a little bit of junk too, so he could elevate himself. But Jamison Williams, because of that position, and if he's really good, and if he's lighting up the league, getting a couple touchdowns a game, and then saying, "Look how great I am! I'm Jamison Williams. What up, everybody?" Then he could become that. So don't fall asleep on him.
All right, fair enough. Well,
going down the road,
we will take a short break. When we get back, live on YouTube this morning, we will talk about the NCAA Division I Council eliminating requirements for a division and a conference championship appearances. That's very interesting. The Pac-12 immediately got rid of divisions. We'll see who follows suit next. We'll talk about the Big Ten and why I believe they should get rid of it, although there are issues if they do. We'll talk about that shortly. But before we do, I got to tell you about Gypsy Vodka. It's gluten-free. It's Michigan's vodka, locally owned and operated up in Petoskey, Michigan. Check out Gypsy Vodka at gypsyvodka.com. Follow them on social media. And as always, please drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hot cakes, and waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Chili Peppers Tanning is celebrating 20 years of sunshine tomorrow, live from Chili Peppers Tanning in Troy on John R. Road from 11 to 1. You'll find Neil and D-Mac there for Big D Energy, putting on a show live for their 20th anniversary, and they're even going to have a $20,000 grand prize contest there. So make sure you head over to Chili Peppers in Troy tomorrow, but all month long, make sure you're joining the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning.
Chili Peppers can.
Love it, love it, love it. 8:19 in the morning, May 19th, 2022. Terry Foster, myself, Maddie, Fish. Guys, good morning. NCAA Division I Council eliminates the requirements for divisions and for the conference championship. The Pac-12 immediately, Terry, scraps the idea and concept of the divisions. They will now take the teams with the 2 highest win percentage totals, which means, for all of you at home, in the Big Ten last year, we would have seen Ohio State and Michigan play again in the conference championship game after their end-of-season finale where Michigan won, I believe, 42-27. Terry?
Yes, sir.
I'm a fan of removing divisions. I don't believe we get the best or the two best teams every year in the Big Ten championship game. Having said that, that poses a problem. I believe it takes away from the last game of the year that everybody looks forward to if you're an Ohio State or Michigan fan, or even if you're just a college football fan in general, which is Michigan-Ohio State, and that game typically decides which team is going to represent the Big Ten division in the conference championship game. And whether you guys like it or not, I know it's Ohio State. Michigan fans, this is directed at you. I know it's one of, if not the most important game of the year. I understand the history, but you eliminate divisions in the Big Ten, I believe that game loses its meaning. It's no longer the game, because the game can be repeated in a championship game. And I'm not sure how that affects their bids for the college football playoff, whether it's a 4-team or an 8-team format.
And you know what's going to happen a lot? The Michigan-Ohio State winner during the regular season will lose in the championship game, because I think it's
impossible.
Almost impossible to beat somebody who's a rival. And
unless you're just that much better, which Ohio State typically is, but still, I think the point is, what happens to Ohio State if they run the table and they go undefeated, and Michigan is undefeated at the time, or let's say only have one loss, and then they lose to Ohio State in the final game of the year? But Michigan did have the second best record in the Big Ten. And then they play each other the following 3-4 weeks from now. They play each other, and Michigan wins. Does Ohio State not get into the college football playoff?
I think, and under that scenario, we'll have to have very smart people from the, won't be the NCAA, from the college football playoff, determine who is the better team. And it's going to be controversial, because the Michigan fans, if they're not picked, they will bitch and complain. The Ohio State fans will bitch. It's going to give us another reason to complain.
I'm all for having the best teams in the final game of the year. My concern, Terry, is, well, let's be real. No matter how talented the teams are, right? And it's not going to be every year that Michigan and Ohio State are the two teams in the title game. That's just not a thing. That's not going to happen every year, right? You'll see your Wisconsin. You'll see your Michigan State. You'll see your Iowa, Penn State, rightfully so, in second place. It's always been a thing. Michigan just now finally showed up. So my concern, and tell me if it isn't, is that you're going to have the game to end the year, and the loser of that possibly can get a rematch. And if they win that game, well, what the hell do I do with these two teams that are evenly matched and have split their season series, but one's a conference champion, the other ran the table but lost in the conference championship game? That seems very difficult.
Well, we've already diluted Michigan-Ohio State, because let's say that, back in the day, every year it was Michigan-Ohio State. Whoever won that game went to the Rose Bowl, was the Big Ten champion. Now, you play Michigan-Ohio State, and to determine who's going to win the Big Ten, that winner has to play another team. They have to play Iowa or Wisconsin. So it's already been diluted a little bit.
So to run back the last few years of the Big Ten, Ohio State in 2019, I'm not going to do 2020 because it was Northwestern Ohio State COVID year. I'm not going to deal with it. Last year, obviously, last year would have been Michigan-Ohio State again. That would have been the matchup. You go back to 2019, it would have been Ohio State and Penn State, not Ohio State and Wisconsin. You go back to 2018, it would have been Ohio State and Michigan. Both 8-1 in the Big Ten. Michigan's only loss, of course, coming to Ohio State. Again, conundrum here. I'm dealing with a team that finished the season 10-1, another that finished 11-0. They then play in the conference championship game. If Michigan happens to win, what do I do with both teams? I feel that's an insane, I would say, an insane dynamic to deal with. 2017, Terry? would have been, and it was, Ohio State, Wisconsin, rightfully so. The two best teams with the best records in the Big Ten. And then I go to 2016, it would have been in division opponents again, Ohio State and Penn State. 2015, it would have been Michigan State, Ohio State. So I'm not getting much representation out of the Big Ten West right now.
You're not. And I always look at this thing selfishly. All right, who do I want to see play in the Big Ten championship game? I'm in my man's room. I got my little beer, maybe some pretzels and some wings.
There are three matchups I would die for.
Who do I want to see?
Three matchups I would never get sick of. Ohio State, Michigan.
Do I want to see Ohio State and Wisconsin? Or do I want to see Ohio State and Michigan, although I saw it 2 weeks ago?
Ohio State, Michigan. There are three championship games I would... Hell, really only two. But maybe three. I would die to watch Ohio State, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan, Michigan State in a Big Ten title game. That to me is must-watch TV.
It is.
And I think getting away from the division concept allows you to have that. And we just went over to the last, up to 2015, so 7 years. In the last 7 years, it would have only been Michigan and Ohio State 2 out of the 7 years. And that's comforting to me. Because, no, I don't want to see the same teams every year, unless they really are just the best, Terry. But
but you know what? You're so been out of shape about seeing Michigan and Ohio State back-to-back weeks. How about this? Michigan, Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and all these little cars from Michigan are going to Indianapolis. How fun would that be?
No, I'm with you. Look, I really am open to it now the more we talk about it, especially now that, again, we've gone over the last 7 years. It would have only happened twice in the last 7 years. And again, if it happens for 5 straight years, well, those are the two best teams in the division, or excuse me, the conference. Like, I don't think I'll be that bent out of shape. What I like to avoid, though, is, or my concern is, does it diminish the game at the end of the year?
Of course it does.
I think it diminishes the importance of it, but then again, I have to be fair and say, well, what if Michigan is better than Ohio State in a given season, and they lose that final game, and that jumps Ohio State into the #1 spot, and then it's Michigan, Ohio State, or vice versa, and it gives the teams an opportunity to save their season. The game still has meaning. I'm just not sure how much it'll be affected. And we've seen that game over the last 7 years really dictate who's coming out of the Big Ten East for a majority of the years.
Yeah, it will definitely diminish that game. And here's what the college football playoff system will do. If, let's say, Michigan was the better team, and then they beat them in the regular season, and then lose in the Big Ten championship game, college football playoff series is going to look at that and say, okay, which team is going to get us the better TV ratings in a month? Which team matches up better against Alabama or Georgia? What game is going to be most compelling for the college football playoffs and for the audience? So the who's the best team concept is going to go out the window.
Let's say they expand the college football playoffs. I don't think we have an issue moving forward. But
you can get them both in.
Let's say you get rid of the divisions. Terry, do you change when Ohio State and Michigan is played? I don't think you do. I still believe that's the last game on the calendar year for both teams every year. Fair or not fair? I don't think you can change it.
Yeah, there's some traditions you don't. Some people are upset that they have a Big Ten championship game after Michigan, Ohio State.
It's important to have a conference championship game, in my opinion. I think it's very important. And let's be honest, it makes a lot of money. So,
you know what we have to do as a people? We have to evolve. Things change.
I actually like this change, though. I really like the idea of getting rid of divisions. If there is a way to salvage the meaning of, again, the game, I would like to see ideas on that. But that'll be it for now. We'll bring it up a little later. Terry, yesterday I filled in for Braylon and Ryan on the bottom line. Had some fun with Mass. We brought up Barry Sanders.
Okay.
And I have an opinion on Barry Sanders I want to run by you. And you're either going to call me crazy or you're going to put your arm around my shoulders and tell me good job.
Or maybe neither will happen.
Or neither.
We'll
Just
see.
kick me in the dick.
Or
we'll
we
see.
just always call you crazy, so let's
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Well, Maddie, could you tell everybody at home about the great work that our good friends at the Sports Marketing Agency are doing?
Yes, I can. The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com if you are struggling or know someone who is, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
I don't know about you guys, but all this football talk has me really wanting to go to the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. That is home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. They have two ways to play, $12 unlimited open play, or you can reserve a private lane for just $120. Don't forget, of course, they have a $2 mystery beer machine as well as multiple full bars. Go check it out at thefoalingwarehouse.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. Maddie, you're
You know
the
what
best.
Maddie is?
She's a professional, is what she
She's
is.
a professional, but she's also an EC.
Ooh. All right, I can dig that. Terry?
She is an eye coverer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry?
Yes, sir.
The question this morning will be, is Barry Sanders the greatest running back of all time? But before we get to that, I want to share with you what I said yesterday on the bottom line. I told Maz that in the NFL, in its entirety, history from beginning till now, I believe there's only one position that has a distinct gap between the best player ever at that position and number two. I think Tom Brady and whoever the second best quarterback is, huge distance.
Yeah, who is the second best quarterback of all time? Joe Montana? See, that's a debate that you can just.
That's why
you could
it's so,
fight. You could fight for hours.
I could go with Peyton. I could go with Montana. I know people that would argue Elway or Marino. Hell, you can look at even recently Aaron Rodgers is very gifted. A lot of people will. A lot of names come up, and that's why I think there's such a big distance because everyone acknowledges it's Tom. I feel the same way about Barry Sanders.
Except one person, Rob Parker.
Rob Parker.
He says he's the luckiest.
Yeah, luckiest of all time. We're going to ignore that one sample size a day. The running back position, I believe, is the second largest gap in NFL history. I truly believe it's Barry Sanders, and you want to bring up Walter, Emmett, OJ, Jim Brown. Great. All very good running backs. Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson. Great. Eric Dickerson. I believe Barry and what Barry was, how he ran, his, let's just call it what it is, his performance, his yards, his averages, will never be duplicated again in NFL history, and they never were anyways, before or after.
Well, his creativity.
And his creativity, the way he ran the ball is unbelievable. I truly believe the gap between 1 and 2 at the running back position is so significant, and the only gap bigger, in my opinion, is the quarterback conversation. We talk about wide receivers, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson. We can have a conversation. You go to tight ends, Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski, Shannon Sharp, whatever you want to talk about. We can
You know who would disagree with you? William Sanders, the father of Barry Sanders. But he was a little bit off.
Yeah, I call me biased, call me a Detroit Lions, whatever you want. I don't care. I truly believe what Barry Sanders was during his time in the NFL was never done before, and it hasn't been done after, and I don't believe it'll ever be done again. I think he was a one-of-one type of player, just like I believe winning 7 Super Bowls as a quarterback is not a thing. That's just not a thing at all. If you win 2, you are a Hall of Famer first ballot, let alone just trying to get 1. So I think what Barry accomplished individually at that position, I think it's the greatest. And not only is he the greatest running back of all time, I think it is the second largest gap between 1 and 2 outside of the quarterback position.
And you know what? More people would acknowledge that if Barry's like the rest of us. If Barry was like the rest of us, they wouldn't have quit after 10 years. They would have wanted to put such a huge gap between him and Emmitt Thomas or Emmitt Smith that he couldn't catch him, but he didn't care. Barry was just the reason Barry Sanders is not considered the greatest of all time, no question, is because he was odd. He was odd from the standpoint
He was an introvert.
Yeah, he was an introvert, and he didn't care about those records. I mean, he had an opportunity to win the rushing title and decided not to play. Or he held himself out of the game, took himself out of the game because the game was out of hand. There was no need. There was no need to rush the ball. But if he was like us, he would have 4,000 or 5,000 yards more.
He would have been the first back to get 20,000, in my opinion. It would have been done easily. And it would have been done with a career average right around 1,400 yards a season, which is ridiculous.
Right. Now, when we talk about normal running backs, we're like, hey, can he get 1,000 yards? For Barry, the barometer was 1,500. Is he going to get 1,500? Okay, he didn't do it. He only got 1,450 yards this year. Or, he's a guy that rushed for 2,000 yards in a season, which is almost impossible, particularly when everybody's looking at you, eyeballing you.
Barry Sanders ran for less than 1,300 yards one time in his career. And it was the year he only played 11 games, where he averaged 100 yards a game. He was on pace for a 1,600-yard season. Rookie year, 1,400 yards. Second year, 13. And then 15, 13, 11, 18, 15, 15, 2,000, and then 1,500 his last year. He averaged 100 yards a game on the ground. 99.8. Unbelievable. Again.
And I'll tell you something else that doesn't show up in a stat sheet. It was Sly Crooms, who was the offensive coordinator for the Lions, and we were criticizing the Lions after Barry left. How come you guys don't do more play action? And so we did a little film study, and so we watched ball fakes to Barry Sanders and what linebackers are doing. They're like, okay, hey, there is, okay, he doesn't have the ball, now we can go play. But everybody froze. Everybody looked in that gap or in that box. Then he showed me probably 10, 15 plays post Barry Sanders. Linebackers are like, whatever. They didn't freeze. They just did their normal thing, and it showed how much respect the league had for him, or the fear, if you want to say they feared him. So that was
a lot of Bo Jackson in the chat. A lot of Bo Jackson, and I would agree with you guys, but I think context in a career matters too, right? Yeah, if he didn't injure his hip, we're probably not having this conversation. I think Bo Jackson could have been that to Barry Sanders. I think he could have been his kryptonite in terms of legacy, but yeah, sorry. For me, Terry, I believe there is a huge gap between 1 and 2 at running back. Really interesting that you brought up quarterback. I couldn't give you an answer today. I don't believe I could give you an answer as who the greatest running back is, or excuse me, the second greatest quarterback is behind Tom Brady. That's difficult. There is probably I would say a list of 5 guys that I'm considering.
An interesting conversation I had. I was doing this story about Joe Montana. This was before Tom Brady being the best quarterback of all time. And San Francisco 49ers were at the Silverdome. So I'm talking to Jerry Rice, and I've gotten to talk to Jerry Rice several times, and then John Taylor. And they basically said, well, yeah, he's good, but you got to look at us too. If he didn't have us, he wouldn't be all that in a bag of chips. So even teammates deflected from Joe Montana, at least when I talked to him, that, yeah, he's good, but he wouldn't be great without us. He had John Taylor, he had Jerry Rice, and John Taylor, who a lot of people don't know about, was a very, very good wide receiver. His problem is he played at the same time as Jerry Rice, so he got overshadowed. But even Jerry Rice was like, yeah, but if he didn't have us, he wouldn't be all that.
And the Niners were different. They played different than most teams did back then. And they were the only team I could argue that was capable of playing that way, obviously because of Walsh, but Jerry Rice. Mm-hmm. Jerry Rice was that engine. And you saw it. After Montana left, they went to Steve Young. Nothing changed. They were winning Super Bowls. It didn't matter. They were getting the title games. So
do we include Joe Montana?
I think Montana has to be in the discussion, given his legacy is what it is, and the pedigree is what it is. 4 Super Bowls, a very good quarterback, very fortunate for his situation. Yes, of course, but I don't think that's a negative. I think I've seen a lot of quarterbacks go into good situations and fail, or just not accomplish anything. So, I'll pick and choose that battle maybe later. I want to move to wide receiver. A lot of attention going to Jerry Rice as the clear number 1.
Not only that, but the best player of all time. I don't know if I
don't know how I feel about
that.
Yeah, I don't agree. I have a take that may not get received well, but it's just not against. Again, I have nothing against Jerry Rice. Growing up, he was everything. He was all the NFL talked about. That's all you knew growing up. My dad would tell me, "Dad, Jerry Rice, unbelievable." I mean, that's the thing. That's a thing. But I do believe Randy Moss, and hell, you may not like him, but Terrell Owens deserves to be in the conversation. Calvin Johnson deserves to be in that conversation. I think even, he didn't have maybe as long as a career as others, but Marvin Harrison, for a 13-year stretch, out the gate was a phenomenal wide receiver. I have a tough time just letting Jerry sit at the top of the pedestal just because he played 21 years in the NFL and amassed all the yards down the stretch with the Raiders, with the Seahawks. Again, if you can shed more light on it than I could. I didn't watch Jerry Rice play. I think there is a conversation to be had about who the best wide receiver is of all time. I don't think the gap is that big, even if the data and the statistics and the touchdowns and the yards all point towards that. The problem is I don't believe there's been a better postseason wide receiver than Jerry Rice, and I think that counts for something too, Terry.
Yeah, that does too, because one of the getting back to quarterbacks, one of the blemishes of Peyton Manning was that he did not play well in the playoffs, particularly early in his career. It's like, damn, Peyton didn't see that. He didn't see that linebacker. What's up? So he was a different player in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. So maybe best regular season quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning. But then if you
I think you have to factor everything when you talk about a player's
everything else
career.
In, then it's like you got
Moss
Tom Brady.
never delivered, but again, nobody has delivered as a wide receiver like Jerry Rice did in the postseason. That's just a fact. And I think that holds more weight than even his regular seasons, in my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong.
It should, but it doesn't.
Super Bowl MVP.
Let's look at baseball. When guys are deciding who's going to be in the Hall of Fame, they never factor in postseason. Barry Bonds is one of the worst postseason players of all time. But the reason that they kept him out from the Hall of Fame wasn't because of his postseason, it was because of the steroids.
There's one player I want to ask you about. Right around the time you were very involved with the Detroit Lions, division opponent, a wide receiver that my older brother, was his favorite player growing up, and he was a Lions fan.
Ooh.
Sterling Sharp.
Yes.
My brother and my father both told me Sterling Sharp was one of the most unguardable wide receivers during his time, and he doesn't get enough love today. Is he a guy we're talking about near the top 10, or is he a top 15, top 20 guy, And by the way, how he's not in the Hall of Fame, I think, is beyond me, given if you go back and look at his stats, he had a 4 or 5 year period where, again, you could compare his 4 or 5 year stretch to Terrell Davis. He was basically unplayable.
I think the knock against Sterling Sharp, this is wrong. Sterling Sharp didn't talk to the media, and he was kind of rude. And those things factor in. Now, ask me, should they factor in? Absolutely not, but they do. And then I think a lot of people were upset with him. Here's a guy that's kind of surly, doesn't talk to the media, is kind of rude. Then when he retires, what does he do? He gets into the media and wants everybody to talk to him. But
Terry, he retired after getting 1,100 yards and 18 touchdowns his final season. I mean, the guy, yes, I know he only played, 3, 6, 7 seasons. He finished in the top 5 in MVP voting twice. 5-time Pro Bowler. 3-time All-Pro, first-team All-Pro. I mean, come on. That is a Hall of Famer in 7 years. In 7 years. Never missed a game, by the way. Never missed a game.
Well, I think there is a cutoff that some guys are not going to vote for you because if you don't play 10 years, they're not going to vote for you. And if you're not media friendly, they're not going to vote for you.
Andrew Luck gets in the Hall of Fame, yes or no?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say, knowing the standards for the NFL are not what they are in baseball, they're not what they are in other sports, he will get in. Now, I don't think he get my vote, but I think he will get in. And I know people who vote on the Hall of Fame, and their standards aren't that great. Like, I think Matthew Stafford, even before winning the Super Bowl, was going to get into the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you. My issue with Luck, unfortunately, is you have to factor. I think playing a certain amount of time does matter. I think tenure does matter. I don't think it's everything, though. And if I look at the 6-year period that Andrew Luck was in the NFL, if he played 12 years, right, at his current averages, Terry, he would have had 350-plus touchdowns, 47,000 yards, probably 50,000 yards, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is a bona fide Hall of Fame quarterback. So when the day comes, I don't think he's first or even second ballot. But I think by the 3rd, 4th, or 5th time around, eventually he will be let in. And I think that's fair. I really do. I don't have an issue with it.
Okay.
I think he was phenomenal. And again, he took the Colts.
And the other thing is he could run a little bit, too.
We'll have to wait and see.
But, as far as Sterling Sharp, I want to tell you, eyeball, this dude was phenomenal. Not only was he fast, but he was strong. I mean, he was like, he could just throw wide receivers off of him. And the most famous play, the one that killed me, is a playoff game, Green Bay. Lions are actually winning, ready to win their second playoff game. So, for whatever reason, the Lions secondary didn't know what coverage they were in. Some of the guys thought they were in cover 2. Some thought they were in cover 3. And guess who they forgot to guard? Sterling Sharp. And this dude, I swear, the closest person to him were the fans sitting in the first row at the Silverdome. Easy touchdown. Green Bay wins. But, I guess if you want to say he's a stealth bomber, that's what he was, at least for one. Again,
thing. Like some of the comments in the chat, you guys being cynical, I don't think is going to go well at all. If Luck gets in, does Ryan Fitzpatrick get in? No, dipshit. No. Again, I look at and when you were in the NFL, were you regarded as one of the best players at your position? Andrew Luck was. And yes, he only played 6 seasons. But for those 6 seasons, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL every single year. Coming out the gate to one of the worst teams in the NFL, by the way. Just a fresh reminder. If you guys don't remember the Peyton Manning surgery, he retires. Technically he doesn't retire, but he has to go away, goes to Denver. Andrew Luck takes over. An awful situation, by the way. Try taking over for the franchise's greatest quarterback of all time. There are only 2 quarterbacks that I know that have transitioned and it worked out. Rodgers and Luck. Nobody else has taken the baton from an all-time great and done. Maybe Steve Young.
Steve Young.
Young, too, for sure. So it was only a handful of guys. But we'll continue the conversation maybe another time. We have to look into the history of the number 5 overall pick, especially over the last 20 years. Are the Pistons in a position to grab a good player? We'll break that down next. But before we do, you need to go and get your hair taken care of, like I do, at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment needed. They will treat you like a king the way they treat me. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, get your hair done. Hot leather neck shave, precision haircuts. Check them out. Again, that's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to Woodward Sports for more great videos.
If you like to bet or you like throwing money on games, head on over to oddstrader.com. It's the #1 site for all of your game day bets. They've got the best price on every game and sign-up offers from multiple sports books on their website. And for play-by-play updates, live scores, and bet tracking, you can download OddsTrader from the App Store today. Head on over to oddstrader.com.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, 8 to 10 every single day. Catch us on live on the app, live on our YouTube channel at Woodward Sports. If you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do. Terry, Pistons have the #5 overall pick.
Yes.
The last extremely, again, exceptional player taken at #5 overall was Dwayne Wade, and that was 19 years ago. Not that there haven't been very good players taken at 5. Trae Young, DeAndre Fox, Kevin Love. The list can go on, but the NBA is what it is, which is you either fall, or essentially you luck out and get the top 2, top 3 pick, or B, a player falls to you like a Devin Booker, Giannis, Draymond Jokic in the second round, unheard of. I mean, those things happen. But at the #5 pick, who is available year in and year out? And Terry, looking at the history, the Pistons, I think, at worst, will get a good player. Ideally, you're looking for the Robin, though. And if I look at that list, I don't see many Robins.
Yeah, you're right. But the other thing, when you look at the history of the NBA draft, yeah, you're right. The #5 pick, you're not going to get a superstar for the most part. But if you do your homework and you believe in Troy Weaver, you can still get good players. I mean, let's look beyond the #5 pick. You've had Richard Jefferson. You've had Tony Parker. And there's another player that I kind of like to play for the Bulls, Luol Deng. Was very good. Andre Iguodala, who was an MVP candidate until he went to Golden State and got swallowed up there and became a good role player. So, do you believe in Troy Weaver? Troy Weaver may not get who we believe the #5 guy is this year. Maybe he finds somebody else,
which is fine.
Be better.
Which is fine. And again, if you just go back from the year 2000. Mike Miller, Jason Richardson, Nick Kozlov, I don't even know how to say his goddamn last name, Dwayne Wade, Devin Harris. So Dwayne Wade right now is the only one that's standing out as a clear #2. Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio, DeMarcus Cousins, Alex Len, Dante Exum, Mario Hazonia, Chris Dunn, De'Aaron Fox, okay. Trae Young, okay. Darius Garland, okay. Good players. Very good players. Trae Young has star potential.
So you're looking for a Hall of Famer?
Not necessarily.
You're not going to get that.
Not necessarily. I'm trying to caution Pistons fans of what the expectations need to be with this pick. Because if I go the last 22 years, only one player has been leaps and bounds exceptional to where they can carry your franchise, and that's Dwayne Wade. Trae Young showed it last year. He's got a whole career ahead of him. I don't want to count him as a sample size because he has so much ahead of him. It's way too early, I think, to be discussing legacy with some of these guys. But what am I looking at here? Dwayne Wade at number 5? So I want Pistons fans to understand you can get a Kevin Love. You can get, hell, even honestly, you can get a De'Aaron Fox, a Darius Garland, Trae Young. That's possible. And we've all known the players that have gone after at 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 11. Steph Curry, I believe, went at 9. So there are going to be players available to you at 5. Whether or not you make the right pick, I think, is what history is telling you most teams don't. Right. At number 5. And yes, you want to bring up, do you trust Troy Weaver?
But don't you already have your guy?
Yes, but you do want that second guy. Right?
Well, the second guy is not going to be a Hall of Famer.
You don't need him to be, no.
Or an all-pro player every year.
You're going to want him to be a perennial all-star. That's the goal with this pick, in my opinion. That's the ideal situation. Best case scenario, this guy is an all-star caliber player by year 3, and he's in the running to be an all-star player a majority of his career.
Although, wouldn't you love to drop a 21-year-old Kevin Love on this roster?
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I would say that caliber of player is what you're hoping to get.
I don't need Dwayne Wade. I need Kevin Love. I need a solid B. Because Cade is the one, right?
Obviously, the Pistons didn't need Dwayne Wade either.
God damn it, Terry. Don't bring that up.
They got Darko.
Man. Again, if we can all agree that this number 5 pick, we are not relying on it to be a franchise player, I think the Pistons are going to walk away very happy. And I think if they can get that Robin, that number 2, because on this team, you don't have a number 2 right now. It's not Sadiq Bey. It's not Jeremy Grant. It's not Killian Hayes. It's definitely not Isaiah Stewart. It's not Marvin Bagley. You need a number 2. Giannis won with Chris Middleton. If Cade is going to be the superstar you project him to be, which we all believe to be true, I just need a very good number 2. And if you go back on the history of the number 5 overall pick all time, Charles Barkley was number 5 overall pick. Kevin Garnett, Juwan Howard, Michigan man, by the way, was the number 5 overall pick back in '95, I want to say. You've had players come through at number 5. Kevin Love, like you mentioned, Dwayne Wade, Vince Carter. There are players you can get that will be very good. Do they need to be Hall of Fame good? Scottie Pippen was the number 5 overall pick. No, you don't need them to be Hall of Fame great. But it would be nice, Terry, if you walk away with a 6, 7-time All-Star. That, I think, is a fair request, is it?
It is. It is. And Scottie Pippen is going to be is a Hall of Fame player. Some people will fight you on that. They don't believe he was that good, but he was. But, you know, to me, it's about who works well with Cade Cunningham. And I think a number of players will work well with him because of the style of play that he has. The question is, how well? You don't want a guy just all right or pretty good. But I think, for instance, if you had Jaden Ivey, that he has such a unique skill set that you're looking for somebody that, A, put the ball in the basket, obviously, can change the pace. And one of the reasons I like Jaden Ivey is because you could put Cade at the number 2, and Jaden Ivey can change the pace of a game. Cade, you know, it's more, all right, let's have a standard basketball game where he's making the right plays. Then you throw in Jaden Ivey at the point for a few minutes to change the pace. Always go back to the Bad Boys. Who was the point guard during the Bad Boys era?
Isaiah.
Correct. But guess who else played point guard? Vinnie Johnson and Joe Dumars. And what did Isaiah do? He played the 2. So they switched it up. One, because I don't think they want to tax Isaiah that much. And 2, they wanted to give teams a different look. A bigger point guard, maybe not as quick, but gave you a different look. And I think a guy like Jaden Ivey can do that. But anybody that's in this draft can work well with Cade Cunningham because of...
I think people need to understand also in the NBA, anybody and everybody gets in the Hall of Fame. I think that's very fair to say.
There's a lot of there's a lot of people.
A lot of people that should not be in the Hall of Fame are in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, there are people like, again, if I just go back to last 21 drafts, there's Dwayne Wade, Jason Richardson, Mike Miller, Kevin Love, DeMarcus Cousins, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, Darius Garland. Those are players that stand out to me. And if you get a player like that, now Dwayne Wade obviously is the fine exception, right? Hall of Fame, dynamic #1 player.
No question.
That if you do that, great. But I think at the end of the day, what you're looking for here is a strong Robin to your Batman, which is Cade.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that, I think you're walking away very happy. Pistons fans, top of the hour. We need to move on. The Tigers lose again. Isaac Paredes, 2 home runs. Terry, when I share the news that I'm about to share with you, I think you're going to pull your...
Oh, yeah, you've been teasing us all day. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, this is going to be very frustrating. But before we go, Maddie, could you tell us about the lifestyle beverage that is Cintron?
Yes, I can. It is the summer of Cintron, and now you can pick up Cintron at your local Kroger. They even have a deal going on right now, too, for just $4. That's an absolute steal. Cintron is a new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Well, it is 9:02 in the morning, but I'm already thinking about wings. Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken from Wing Snob. They just have the best traditional wings in the game. Try out their signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Their wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce that you may choose. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online now at wingsnob.com. Wing Snob, we just have better wings.
Damn right they do. Wingsnap's got the best wings. What's up, Maddie? Good morning. Hope you're doing great. We've got a very special guest joining us at 9:15 to promote an upcoming event that means a lot, not only to him, but I think the community. So definitely excited to share all of that with you. But Terry, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, you're supposed to shock me.
Tigers and Rays obviously played yesterday. Torkelson, a double and a home run, by the way. Very, very good day for him. Nice to see the kid finally get some good swings in. Having said that, Isaac Paredes, in his first game against the Detroit Tigers, hits 2 home runs. Terry, you know how many home runs he hit in the 70-plus games that he played for the Detroit Tigers?
About 0.
2. Yep.
As many home runs as he hit during his time in Detroit over the last 2 years, he hit in 1 game against Detroit yesterday. On top of that, and 250-plus appearances at the plate, Austin Meadows and Javi Baez, in their most recent 250 appearances, have a total of 2 home runs. The kid in 4 plate appearances, 2 home runs.
Okay.
This is very concerning. Now, do I think the Austin Meadows trade was good? I do. I don't give a rat's ass that the kid hit 2 home runs. My issue right now is this team can't hit a lick. Even the better players on the team aren't even hitting. Everybody is slumping. And that is a big concern to me, especially when some kid just gets to get called up for a homestand series against his former team, and he looks like the next coming of, I don't know, Alex Rodriguez. I'm being dramatic here.
Well, A.J. Hinch said, basically, when a player feels he's disrespected or something, that he is fired up to play against his former team. And I'm kind of wondering if the Tigers are jinxed this year, because everybody can't go through a slump at the same time for this long of a period. Paredes, was that a guy that you wanted to put in your lineup every day and parade him out there and say, here we go? Probably not.
Shouldn't every player in the Tigers lineup feel disrespected right now because they suck outside of Torkelson yesterday?
No, they shouldn't feel disrespectful. Respected. They should be grateful. I'm sucking ass, and they're still putting me out there and paying me.
Oh, God.
So I feel great.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Bless America. God bless America. America is a great country. That's what I'd be thinking if I was a Tiger player right now.
Tigers need to catch something. COVID, a break, a hot streak, something to turn this around. Again, you can't rely on an injured pitching staff to continue to carry you throughout the season. The bats need to wake up. This needs to be a team that's scoring consistently 4, 5, 6, 7 runs a game.
Even the pitching is starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah, they're all getting injured now. And
right.
Casey Mize not available. Matt Manning not available. Eduardo Rodriguez now injured. Terry, we can blame the injury bug all we want, but at the end of the day, they need to hit the baseball. And when you're Javi Baez and you strike out twice yesterday, and you are the guys, you lead by example. And I'm sorry, 39-year-old Miguel Cabrera should not be the best hitter on this team. And then the second best hitter be a rookie. When you have all that money tied up between 3 or 4 players that you extended, Scope, Meadows, Baez, they got to step, Grossman, you guys got to hit. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Right. And I understand that Javi Baez strikes out a lot. When you look at him play every day, there is no need to throw a strike to him. You throw it 7 inches outside, out off the plate, and he's chasing. He looks like he's playing golf out there.
Golf?
Is it rude to call people fat?
You've done it before. You don't call them fat, you call them hippos. Who's a hippo?
Al Avila.
Eat a salad.
Al Avila.
I mean, 8 years.
Is a big man.
Is a big hippo. That's really starting to frustrate me because you look at baseball in general, right? I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Juan Soto. It is a young, up-and-coming player who's been pretty established out in Washington, helped them win a World Series. He will be available probably this upcoming summer.
LV was not touching him.
And the Tigers are not in a position to sell the farm to get a player like that because their farm is a bunch of manure. And when you have had players walk in and out of the door, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, JD Martinez, when you've had some of the players walk out that this team has, and your farm system is a sack of potatoes and condoms, I don't know, Terry. I don't know. Finally, they spent money, but, I spoke with Tony Paul yesterday, and he told me, you don't just turn this team around in 1 year. The 06 Tigers started back in 04 with Pudge, and then it took 2 years to finally all come together. You don't just magically spend money in one off season and then you become pennant winners. That's not how this works.
No, you don't become pennant winners, but you become better.
You become better, but even then, the money they spent, I believe it's a bit overblown. What did they spend? They went and got 2 players, 3 players, and then they traded Paredes for Meadows, Barnhart, Baez, and Eduardo Rodriguez. Is that moving the needle here?
Well, I thought it was. But
I did too.
There's something dangerous going on here. Now, last year, we talked about A.J. Hinch pushed the franchise forward and made Chris Ilitch want to spend a little money. Now that the fact that they did that and we're not seeing any proof in the putting on the field, does Chris Ilitch go, all right, I gave you some money last year. Now I'm done until you can prove that you can win again. So the franchise has moved forward last year. Is the franchise moving back again this year as far as telling Chris Ilitch, what's your next move? Is that next move not going to happen now because he's afraid of spending money because it didn't pay off?
They can't be afraid. And what I would say also is you have to remember this is a young core in terms of the pitching staff. It's actually pretty solid. And if they get right and you're going into next year, it's looking pretty damn good. But the bats can't be this pathetic.
No, that's true. But you can't blame injuries for the Tigers' woes this year.
No, absolutely not. It's on hitting. The pitching was better than everybody expected. And they are worse than expected.
Now, if they were hitting and the starting pitching was blowing up,
with this. We would have no issue because
the
starting pitchers are injured.
Things, okay, it's the starting pitching, that's why they're losing. You can't even do that this year because the strength remains a strength even though it's injured. Hitters, for the most part, are injury-free. So there's no excuse there. So fans, sorry, you can't look back and say, well, the reason 2022 is bad is because of injuries. No, can't do that. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. Well, we will take a short intermission. When we get back, we are joined by a very special guest to promote an upcoming event. A lot of charity work going on that I absolutely love and support. I can't wait to share it with all of you. But before we do, Maddie, could you tell everybody about the best defense on and off the field?
Yes, I can. Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you peace of mind. Whether you're at home or on the road, their 24/7 local monitoring makes sure what's important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That's right, you heard fish. 1-800-STAY-OUT right now and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, here live on the Woodward Sports Network. If you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on. We are joined by a very special guest, Mike Kraft, who is the backbone behind Sheriff's Recycle for Kids. And Mike, I would really appreciate if you shared what exactly this initiative is and what it does for kids in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys, for having me on today. Appreciate the time. I'm part of the Dan Goodfreund Realty Group. We're out of Sotheby's here in Birmingham. And about 4 years ago, Dan and Sheriff Mike Bouchard got together and put together this awesome cause. It's called Recycle for Kids. And bottom line is we're looking for new, used bicycles, parts, accessories, you name it. We are so excited to basically get this awesome contribution, get all these parts put together, get these bikes back out on the road for those less fortunate in the community. So we'll be getting together this Saturday from 9 till 4 o'clock. We're going to have 2 locations, one of them at Oakland University, the other one at Royal Oak Ford here just down Woodward. So again, new, used, parts, accessories, any of it. Don't be shy. Got it laying around in your garage, something you haven't been working on for a while. We will put it back together and get it to these kids who need it most. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid rolling around with my buddies and my friends, I mean, if I wasn't at school, I was on my bike with them after. So I appreciate the cause so much. Such a good time hanging out with everybody in the community. And every year it's just grown and grown. So we're really excited for this year. Last year we were fortunate enough to get over 2,000 donations. So we're looking forward to exceeding that record this year. And again, kudos out to Oakland County Sheriff's Department, all the partners, and my team back at the office at Sotheby's. We can't wait for it.
I love it, Matt. How would somebody go about, so you said at Oakland University and then Royal Oak Ford, any part, doesn't matter. What's the criteria here for somebody to bring down a bike?
Yeah, it's the criteria is pretty much wide open. I say other than probably a completely bent, busted frame on the bicycle itself. That's probably the only thing that might be tough for us. But hey, you can still drop it off. If nothing else, we'll get it to the right hands to recycle it correctly. But yeah, any condition works. We've seen quite a bit of different condition bikes, and we will take what we can get from you, and like I said, get it back out to the community and those less fortunate. So, and if it's brand new, the good news is you don't even need to build it or put it together. You just drop it off in a box.
So are you a bike mechanic?
I am not.
Okay.
I tried once back in my younger days. You know, we can wrench on them a little bit, but hats off to the Sheriff's Department. They do an excellent job of really taking the ones in the toughest repair, and they spend the time and the hours getting those back operable for, you know, all the young kids in the community.
Now, a lot of times when people have charities, you know, they try to revitalize a basketball court, or they give out toys to kids or backpacks, and there's a variety of things. Why bikes? What's so important about bikes to make sure that kids have those?
I think it's, again, you know, it's most kids can resonate so well with a bike and just what it means to you in your childhood and getting around the neighborhood to hang out with all your friends. Yeah, I feel like it's sort of just a part of who we are. Even if you weren't obsessed with riding a bike as a kid, it's not often that you just never rode one whatsoever. So I think it's just such a common piece of childhood and growing up. And makes great sense too in our communities. We've got so much, you know, sort of bike-friendly, operable lanes and ways to get around town where you can avoid using a car, and it works out well, not just for the kids but for the adults too, and whatnot that we like to give back to.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, before you could drive, we'd go downtown on our bikes, and then it was entertainment, kept us out of trouble. At Cobo Hall, they have that ramp, and we used to go speeding down that ramp, and that was a fun thing to do. We had suicide alleys, and so we were able to get away from our neighborhood and get away from the bad kids and just kind of be on our own and explore different parts of the city. That was very important too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think it's a great call out, and you know, when you think about Oakland County and just our heartline of Woodward, it's really, everything's so accessible, and even by bike these days. So I think it's really just opened up opportunities for people. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Matt, we can't thank you enough for hopping on. Guys, like Matt said, Royal Oak Ford or Oakland University, make sure you drop off any and all parts you have available to you, unless it's a dented frame, and then Matt will probably hit you in the head with it. But yeah, you know,
and if it's in the head, Mike, get rid of the dent.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks so much, Matt. We really appreciate you hopping on and joining us this morning. Can't thank you enough.
Good luck.
Likewise. Feelings mutual. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much, man. Terry, I do have to ask you. All right, we're just talking about the Detroit Tigers. I have one issue moving forward. We have a few minutes, so I guess we can continue the conversation. Is Alavila the sole issue with this rebuild? Because before the season started, you brought up to me that you feel Hinch could and will walk if he doesn't see enough progress. And if I'm AJ Hinch, I'm looking at this team saying, guys, this is what I'm working with. And yes, thank you for spending the money on Baez. But how good is Baez in a lineup that can get on base? Because he has a high strikeout rate. He does have a low batting average. And he typically hits for power. And that's nice. But he can't do any damage if, one, no one's on base, and two, he's not hitting the baseball.
True. Yeah, like I said, the clock is ticking on AJ Hinch. The whole cheating scandal will disappear or diminish a little bit more. And then I think teams will look at him and say, yeah, okay, yeah, he had his issues in Houston, but the reason Houston won wasn't because they were cheating. They had a damn good manager there. So in time, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Cubs, the Cardinals, all the teams that want to win may start to look at him. And he's one of those guys, not going to call him a diva, but A.J. Hinch is a guy that can call his own shots, or he will be able to when this whole cheating scandal disappears. And the thing about sports is we have a short memory. And the thing about sports is franchises forgive you because the bottom line is they want to produce a banner for their friends, or for their fans and for their players and for their franchise. So I believe in a year or two, A.J. Hinch is going to be able to call his own shot because he's proven
Who's
here in
more
Detroit.
of a problem right now, Al or Chris? What's the dynamic? What's the issue here that it's taken this long? And look, I'm not depending on a goddamn farm system to take me up to the next level, okay? But holy hell, you've got nothing in there. You've got nothing, and on top of it, what you have in the majors isn't even all that special for me to say, you know what? Hey, look, our farm system isn't all that great, Terry, but boy, look at that team that we have on the field.
All right, who's grocery shopping? Al Avila. To me, the main problem is Al Avila. And the only reason I include Chris Ilitch as somewhat of a problem is I unfortunately believe this. Let's say Al Avila figured it out, and he got the Tigers in contention to compete for a World Series. My fear is the Tigers might need one player, and he might cost you, a couple $100 million. Chris Ilitch would say, no, we're good. That's my fear with Chris Ilitch. But who do I blame? Al Avila. He's had 7 years. And he not only can't put together a 500 roster, but they haven't been above 400 since 2016.
You want to laugh?
That's scary.
You want to laugh? In 2021, the Detroit Tigers, you ready for this?
Ready.
Recorded a record $31 million in profit. Now, what's $31 million? Let's say you sign one of the best players in baseball on a 10-year, $300 million contract. You're still operating above water.
Yes.
And, yeah, by the way, if you sign that player, jersey sales, ticket prices, getting people in the ballpark, all those things go up.
Right.
This is not as simple as we are afraid to spend. Shut up and put a good product on the field, and I promise you this entire city will be at your ballpark in the summer. That's the reality. Just like it was back in the day when, God rest his soul, the OG Ilitch was spending money on Tigers players and bringing championship caliber teams here. That ballpark was always filled.
That's true, but in fairness, he refused to do that for many years, and then one day I think his team was like, come on, Mr. I, you got to do this, and he finally said, okay. So once he did it, he was all in.
And you need that sometimes. And you know what? I don't think the Tigers needed to spend for a certain amount of time. I don't think they were ready to spend either. And again, once Miguel Cabrera started entering his prime, Justin Verlander, things kind of all came at the right time. And it was, I'll go get a Torrey Hunter. I'll go get a Prince Fielder. I'll go sign David Price. I'll go do all this. I'll go spend the money, Max Scherzer. I'll go get these players, even though they didn't re-sign Max Scherzer or whatever. Fuck you, Al. Was it Al or Dave that messed up the Max deal?
Which deal?
The Max Scherzer deal.
That was Dave.
That was Dave. Sorry, Al. I hate you right now, so you're getting thrown out for everything.
We're going to blame you anyway.
But I think you get where I'm going here. The team, the manager need to justify the spend too. And if you don't have the players, which they don't have right now, you either A, got to spend, or B, have a GM in place that can get you young up-and-coming talent. And right now you have neither.
You have neither. And the other thing, and no one ever gave them a name for this, but I'm going to do it today. The Tiger Mafia was the reason that the Tigers were successful. You had Mike Ilitch, a guy that in 1999 and 2006 said, I am going to spend, I want to win. Then he had his henchmen. He got rid of, he brought in Dave Dombrowski, and Dave Dombrowski is a wheeler dealer. He knows how to work a room. Another person that was involved in that was Scott Boras, the agent. Scott Boras put the Tigers on the map where they would be able to sign guys, be able to keep guys here. And so to me, that was the Tiger Mafia that made this so successful. Then you replaced Dombrowski with Al Avila, who may or may not have learned a couple things under Dave Dombrowski. It looks like he hasn't. Then you replace Mike Ilitch with Chris Ilitch, and Scott Boras is no longer part of the equation.
Yep.
So now what you have is you don't even have a middle-of-the-road ball club. So we might be in trouble for a while around here.
I don't mind it. MSU Detroit fan in the chat. Al Avila was the assistant GM during the Max Scherzer deal, so he still had a part in it. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that light of information.
But he wasn't.
I know, but goddamn it, I'm gonna tie him in anyways.
I know you do, but let's be fair. No.
Oh man, no. You know what? A lot of Detroit Lions talk in the chat going on right now about Jared Goff. I think you guys have a very. I don't think you have the right understanding of what Jared Goff is to this football team and what he's been over the last few years. So I will help clarify that. Not next. I'll do it around 9:40. But upcoming, we have an interesting debate. I think I'm going to shock the hell out of Terry when I give him my answer. I don't think he's going to expect it. So that should be fun. But before we go, Maddie, what the hell is going on at Big Boy? Because god damn it, does it look good?
Well, it definitely does look good, and it tastes good, too. I have tried it out. The Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy, and we will be, too, next week, live from their location in Brighton. But they have brought back some of their classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hotcakes, and waffle. And if you're not feeling breakfast, don't worry. They've got a new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, a crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or a strawberry salad as well. And do not forget about dessert. They've got a very delicious strawberry pie for just $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more. So head on over to your local Big Boy.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
At Wing Snob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wing Snob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Now it's your turn.
All right, now we're back. Now we're back, baby. Here we go. Terry.
Yes, sir.
Pizza debate.
Now, how are you going to shock me on a pizza debate?
What?
All right, get ready. New York style versus Detroit style. Now, what I would appreciate from you is to educate the audience on what exactly the difference between a New York style and a Detroit style pizza is, and then tell me which one you prefer.
All right, a Detroit style pizza is not thick, but it's got a little bit a heftier crust, and you put your sauce on top of the cheese and on top of the toppings. New York style is a slimy,
thin
piece of goop that turns orange. And so obviously you know which kind I like better. I'm a Detroit style pizza guy. But you get
what's the Detroit style pizza again?
You don't like the thin?
It's a thicker crust.
And it's rectangle.
Is it like Jets?
Yes, Jets.
It's rectangle.
Well, no.
But you put
Jets,
the sauce on top.
Jets is a fake Detroit style.
Jets is, but Buddies is
It's more like Buddies.
Yeah, Buddies is true
Okay.
Detroit style.
You ready for the
Louis.
shocking answer?
Huh?
I've had neither.
Oh, shut up.
I've never had a New York or a Detroit style pizza before.
That's not that surprising.
What?
Swear to
How?
God. What do you mean how?
Where do you order pizza from?
I usually have the fake pizza. The little thin ones that.
Like Little Caesars?
Oh, you don't order like square pizzas?
Like Blaze.
Okay, so I've had square pizza. That's my question. Does
Okay.
Jets qualify because it's a square
No.
pizza
Nah.
and it's a deep dish, but
No,
it's not
kind
the
of.
Detroit style,
Correct.
right? Yeah, I've never had that.
It is
before.
Detroit style, but Detroiters refuse to acknowledge it's
Yeah, 'cause
Detroit
the sauce
style.
isn't on
Okay,
the top.
because
The sauce has to be
does
on the top for it to be Detroit
Does
style.
Pizza Popolis in downtown Detroit count?
Pizza Popolis does. They put their sauce on the top.
That's
I may have had it when I was a kid.
No,
though.
that's Chicago style.
That's Chicago style.
Yeah,
Wait,
Okay.
I thought Detroit style was with the sauce on the top.
it is.
But it's got to
So
be
what's the-
rectangle because Chicago is thick.
It's a circle,
deep
isn't
dish.
it?
No, no,
it's got to
No.
have the
Chicago's
sauce on top,
thick, but they got
it's
they got tomato
it's a
chunks,
square
really.
pizza, but it's not the real thick.
Yeah,
crust like you get
Chicago's
in
is
Chicago
thick.
style.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like
It's
Chicago style,
triangle.
you can only eat 2 pieces and that's it. You're
I
done.
love Chicago style pizza. Oh,
Yeah, I've never had either. And Chicago style, I want to say I did have when I was a lot younger because we used to do Christmas in Chicago
Oh,
as a
how do you
family,
not?
but I just don't remember it at all.
Oh.
So yeah, I've never had either. So I really can't give you an answer this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love Chicago style pizza.
You are
Oh.
a different bird.
I told you,
You
he
know
lives under a
what?
rock.
You know, he's a good kid, but there's something wrong with him.
I mean, look, like I'll just be honest with you. Like my go-to pizza, if I'm really craving pizza, is probably the square pizza from Jets
Yeah.
with barbecue chicken.
Okay.
That's my number
That's
one.
a good one.
That's my number
I've
one.
had that, and it's delicious.
Phenomenal. Bacon.
And it has a little onion on there.
A little onion and bacon.
Yeah.
Really good. But I've never had the traditional classics. I just haven't. And
Well, technically, you have had Detroit style because Jets promotes that pizza as
Yeah.
Detroit style. But we, being a little bit snobbish here in Detroit, say, no, it's
Jets
not.
is not Detroit style pizza because it does not have the sauce
I
on top.
know
All
that,
right.
but they promote themselves as Detroit
Well, they
style.
can F themselves.
all right, another one that I
Pizza
haven't
Hut is
tried in
one, too.
Detroit. I've never been to. I've never tried a Coney dog.
Damn.
I told
You
you, he
can get
lives
out.
under a rock.
I know.
Get out.
I know.
Just leave.
So you never gotten drunk downtown?
I have, but I've never had a Coney dog.
Damn.
Okay,
Don't
Terry,
look at me, Terry.
Terry, he hasn't
I
gotten
know,
that
I know.
drunk
I
to
don't know
where
what to
he's
say here.
walked,
I'm-
stumbled
again,
in.
Also, you don't need to be drunk to have a Coney dog because I love Coney
At
dogs.
National and American, you do.
No,
Yeah.
you don't.
I've never been to
Have you
American.
done that, Terry?
Huh?
Have you done that?
Oh, hell yes.
It's a good thing that Lafayette's is
Stumbled
better
in?
than National and American.
I've never been
so-
to National, American, or Lafayette.
Can we go?
Sure.
No, we need to take him to Lafayette.
Yeah.
We should go right now.
Yeah, probably
Well, I
not
don't
today.
think they're open.
Not this week, but
I'd like to take him like at 2 in the morning.
We'll go when we go
'Cause
to a Tigers
That's when
game.
all the action happens.
when we go to a
Like the
Tigers game as a
finals.
morning show, I will eat whatever the hell you guys tell me to eat. I'm just being very
Say
honest
less.
with all of you
Oh,
this
God.
morning.
I don't think you should have said that.
Fish, shut the hell up. I'm just being honest with you guys.
I would, but in this specific debate, I would choose New York style over Detroit style.
Really, you sick freak? What?
I don't like the
You
sauce on
can't
the top.
comment.
I
just
need to
from the
see
way
my
he described
toppings.
it,
Can
the
I
way
say
he
I like 'em
described
both?
it.
I need to see the toppings. I have to know what's on my pizza.
Why? You're ordering it. You're gonna know what's on it.
Right.
What if they give you the wrong pizza? You don't know until you eat it.
Well,
You can
You just
see.
open
You
it.
can
Yeah, you
still
can
see the
see it.
toppings.
I'm not wrong. I don't like
I may be
surprises.
very fortunate, but in my life, I have never ordered carryout in my life, and they've
I
messed
don't
up
know.
my order.
When you go to New York and you go and get one of those giant slices of pizza that's just greasy and it hangs off the plate, and you're just like, yeah, this is right.
Oh.
That's all.
It's all right.
It's pretty good,
Detroit
Terry.
style.
I don't know. I
think
feel like
you're
You know,
biased
it's
a little.
neater
I love
to
Jets
eat.
pizza, but it's not Detroit's. It's not.
all right.
sauce is not
all
on
right.
top.
And then like, what's Chicago pizza again? It's like fucking
It's
lasagna.
like a freaking.
It's-
honestly, like it's as thick as lasagna.
Yeah,
It's almost like a meatloaf pizza.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
thick. The crust is so thick, and that's basically it.
And the sauce is also
Sorry
on
guys.
top.
Sorry to disappoint you. Never had a Detroit style pizza. Oh well.
That's okay.
I guess that's
And New York style. What is it? Just a big slice of pizza? I don't.
Basically,
But it's thin.
it's
super
like a thin.
Thin.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever ordered thin crust pizza, but I've done that before. I don't know if that counts.
Have you been to the
kind of.
new pizza places?
It's
that
like normal pizza.
You,
It's just big and
you order a pizza, you say what you want on it. They put it in the oven for 90 seconds, pull it out, and serve it to you. Have you had that?
Yeah, what's that place called?
There's Blaze. There's they
one
got like
that's-
3 or 4 of them out.
The one that's in downtown Royal Oak. I can't remember what it's called.
Sure it's not Blaze?
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
Let me find out. Pizza in Royal Oak? It's like Blaze, you said?
I know Blaze is one of them. That's the one that me and my son
Mod
go to.
Pizza?
Oh, Big Allura.
Oh yeah, Mod Pizza.
Big Allura has that.
Big
You
Allura?
like sit at a table. It's like an actual restaurant. It's not like the
you know
make
what
your
pizza
own
Big
pizza.
Allura has? And you guys are not gonna like it. They have clam pizza, and it is delicious. You get pizza and it's got a white
I'm
sauce
judging
on
you.
it, and you get actual clams on there and bacon. It's crazy
Like
good.
without the shells, clams?
No, it's in the shells.
Okay.
So you got to pull your clams out the shells. Don't eat the shells, fish.
I won't.
I'm so confused.
Just the clam.
I don't even want to see that.
I feel like I am disconnected from the world of food.
You are.
You're disconnected from
the
everywhere.
world, period.
Yeah.
Have you been to a Tiger game?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Okay.
Of course.
He's never been to Lafayette.
That's not a thing. I don't.
I'm kind of disappointed in you.
It's not shocking, though.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like I can't be mad at you, but I'm
Yeah.
disappointed.
You know what? Maybe we should embrace his differences.
Or
You
maybe
know,
he
instead
just
of
hasn't
saying-
Terry, you're on the
experienced
morning
life
show.
the
That
way
doesn't
the rest
happen.
of us have.
Yeah, we
You know,
don't do
instead
that
of
on the
saying-
morning show. We don't
You
I
know-
just
accept
said
people
I
for
will
the way
take
they are.
you
He's
into the
different.
world. I can show you the world.
You should. you know what we need to do? 4 straight weekends, Adam has to hang out with Maddie.
God, I
Can't say no.
I think I'll be dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Adam may not be alive.
Hey,
second
if he
week.
dies, he dies.
First weekend.
God
Terry
damn
just
it.
put a death wish on you.
God damn it. I don't blame him. What is a topping that you refuse to have on a pizza? I used to be a pineapple is absolute no-go, and then obviously one day I tried it, and it wasn't horrible. So I get why people kind of like it. I get it, but it's not my preference. I don't like it. But what's a
I got
topping?
2. Pineapple
Okay.
and anchovies.
All right.
Maddie?
Maddie?
It's too salty.
What's a hell no topping for you?
I mean, I'm not gonna have anchovies on my pizza. That's not happening.
Well, you know, I'm sure you guys know Tom Mazaway, New York Italian.
Oh, hell yeah.
The pizza connoisseur here.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he is.
For his birthday, I plan on buying a large pizza from Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Oh, excuse me.
You gotta wait a
Tomatoes.
long time for his birthday then.
And what I plan on doing also, or just one random day, doesn't have to be an
Okay.
event. I plan on putting a bunch of gummy bears and Skittles on it, and seeing his reaction.
You know, that
'Cause I
is a-
think he's going to be very
Why would
insulted.
you ruin a pizza like that?
That is a thing.
That's the point.
There's certain places you can get a breakfast pizza,
Or I'm going to put like I
a
don't
cereal
know.
breakfast pizza.
No, but
Like-
seriously, you can get a pizza like that with gummy bears.
Yep.
I forget what they call it, but it's
Fruit Loops.
Yeah, Fruit Loops.
They got like the marshmallow
What is
gummy,
wrong with
gummy
people?
worms.
I don't know. They're sick. Look.
But Mads is gonna punch you if you do that.
Yeah, I know he will. That's
He'll
why.
square up and just hit you right.
He
in
will
your
be
snout.
so. I am insulting.
D-Mac hit easy with a chair yesterday, so.
It wasn't even a hit. It was a. An easy fell. Oh my god. This is hilarious.
Because everybody in this building is dramatic as hell.
Oh, believe me, I know. We need to take a quick break. When we get back, Jared Goff, I will tell you why you all of you in the chat who are anti-golf and supporting of golf are really not far off. You guys just need to meet in the middle a little bit. I'll tell you why in a sec. But before I do, NBA and NHL playoffs are up and running. You should be betting at my bookie, the best place to place your bets this NBA and NHL playoffs. If you would have bet the over on the Calgary-Edmonton game, you would have been very happy last night. Bet from anywhere, anytime using my bookie. Sign up using code Woodward. It's basically a risk-free bet. They'll match your first deposit. Again, that's code Woodward. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Man, we had it. That plus 270 in the bag for DCFC. Damn, they give up a late goal in extra time. Oh, we had it in our hands. Oh, the joys of sports betting. Last second, just take it away. Anyway, out in the Man Raj, we're going to watch this basketball game. Woodward Bets, 4:30. Check us out.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer.
We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Adam, I'm gonna
I come in peace.
No, you don't.
I don't.
Wake up angry.
I always wake up. That's my secret, by the way.
We know.
I wake
it's
up
not
angry.
a secret.
I don't think he was angry today. I think he was just a little low key today. He was chill.
Look, I see all of you. I pay attention to the chat. I hear all of you. Obviously, the golf supporters, the golf naysayers. What all of you need to agree on and accept, because he's going to start this year, right, Terry?
Yes, sir.
There's no doubt about that.
No question.
So let me just make all of your lives a lot easier. Jared Goff is not a very good quarterback, and he's not a very shit quarterback. Cool. Now, there's somewhere in the middle between the two where he's just average. And it's okay that he's average. And yes, is it frustrating or is it not ideal that you're paying him $30 million? Sure. But you're paying him $30 million for those 2 goddamn draft picks. And boy, are those draft picks really nice right now. One of them turned out to be Jameson Williams. And next year, who knows who that pick could be? That pick could be used to go up and get your franchise quarterback, Detroit. Just accept that Jared Goff is here. Embrace it. Embrace it knowing that there are one of 2 things that could happen this year, both benefiting you. He sucks dick. And you have a top pick.
Well, wait a minute. You said he wasn't bad. Now he sucks dick.
No. Hear me out. The 2 scenarios that could happen this year.
Okay.
If he sucks dick, you're picking in the top 3, Detroit. If he plays good, you have a good team that could push for 8-9 wins and a wild card spot. If he plays average, you could probably still push for that spot anyways. Oh, did I mention, if you're a 7-10, 8-9, 9-8 football team, you're going to have 2 picks and future picks that you could maneuver up in the draft for if you need to. Again, Brad Holmes has shown he can. I am extremely optimistic about the Jared Goff situation. Not because I think he's a good quarterback. I don't need him to be good. But what I see is an opportunity for Dan Campbell, if he's the guy, to establish a winning culture, right? You talked about fixing the culture.
Right.
Fixing Allen Park.
Getting rid of that
horrible negative energy.
Right.
Okay. How do you solidify culture? Winning. You got to win now, right? And, to be fair to Jim Caldwell, he averaged 9 wins a year in his 4 years. 9 wins.
He did not change the culture.
And that didn't change the culture. So it's not only just winning games now, it's establishing and building something towards winning.
Dan Campbell is changing it.
Yes.
And he's not winning. Because there's a belief in him. So there not only must be winning, but there must be a belief.
There has to be a belief. I think belief is very important. What I would say on top of it is when it comes to Jared Goff, guys, you are allowed to leave Jared Goff, divorce him, for a cap hit of $5 million after the year. $5 million, that's it. It costs you nothing to move on from him. Why are you so scared of the idea that Brad Holmes would even dare extend him on a 4-year, $120 million deal? He would not. And the only way he would ever consider it is if Jared Goff this year and next year was a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback who was 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 8 to 10 interceptions a year. And I doubt that's going to be the case. I truly do. And even if he does do that this year, Brad Holmes could be looking at Jared Goff as a trade asset, somebody he could move off and get additional capital. Or, hey, you know what? This is a guy I can keep around for an extra year or 2. You know what I can do, Terry? I can groom my franchise quarterback.
Jared Goff is not going to.
There are 5, 10, 15 different scenarios I can play out for you guys, and where you don't have to, or you can commit to Jared Goff, and you still don't have to be, or excuse me, you don't have to commit to him long term. You can commit next year, or let me rephrase it, this year, the following year, and dare I say the third year from now. That could be a possibility. And that gives Brad Holmes time to continue to build talent around this roster, and B, find the franchise quarterback. And I don't know why anybody would complain. If Dan Campbell can coach and you are winning football games without a franchise quarterback, that is very different than being Jim Caldwell, not winning a lot of games, averaging 9 wins a year with a franchise quarterback. You see the difference here?
I can't, but can I defend the people who are scared?
Go for it.
The reason they're scared is because Brad Holmes still says nice things about Jared Goff.
If you were my counter would be, if you were the GM going into this year, are you going to say anything different than what Brad Holmes has said about the quarterback?
No, but people don't understand. Don't go by what a guy says, go by what he does. Now, you have to make a player think he's the most important thing right up until the moment you cut him or trade him.
Yes. And also, you talked about what Brad Holmes has done. What has he done, Terry? Has he drafted a quarterback?
He has not.
Has he gone after a backup quarterback?
Well,
now the pessimist would say, "Oh, they're committing to Jared Goff." The optimist, the idealist would say, "No, he's protecting himself because one, he hasn't taken a quarterback yet, and when you take a quarterback as a GM, you're basically on the clock. I don't care who you are. He hasn't taken a quarterback yet, and not only that." He has put himself in a position, for any reason, Jared Goff is either A, a disaster, or B, gets hurt. This team will be in pole position to draft a franchise quarterback.
Or, instead of saying he's protecting Jared Goff, maybe Brad Holmes looked at the quarterbacks and said, this is garbage.
Yep.
Don't just bring anybody in. Bring in the right guy. And I can wait another year and bring him in.
And I have no problem with that. I really don't, given if Dan Campbell is changing the culture, which it seems like he is, and he can be, and let's say he is a very good coach, you're not going to be complaining. None of you will be complaining. And I could argue if Jim Caldwell was the coach right now, nobody would be putting any pressure on him. And nor should they, by the way. Does he have a franchise quarterback with him? No, he doesn't. Tough to evaluate a coach when you don't have the quarterback unless the roster is just that talented and you're underachieving. I think that is the only scenario where you have to be critical. But the roster is getting more talented, and you're going to want to see improvement this year from Dan Campbell.
Okay, now I'm going to represent the fools out there.
Okay.
You know, Adam, the reason Brad Holmes is making a mistake and he's protecting Jared Goff is because Malik Willis is going to be a damn good quarterback. You just wait and watch.
Yeah, and my aunt has a dick.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, again, you guys need to stop with the Malik Willis thing. You were so out of touch with reality. He was never a top 2 pick. He was never a first-round project. At best, you could have taken him in the 2nd round, and no NFL team did. Had the Lions gone for him in the 3rd round, I would have been okay with that. No problem. I wouldn't have said a damn thing. No problem. I don't want to hear this Malik Willis talk. If Malik Willis ends up being a 3rd-round hit, which doesn't happen often in the NFL, every team missed, including the Titans, because they passed on him twice. And if they felt he was that guy, they would have taken him earlier. Just saying. Now, do teams make mistakes? Do teams miss? Absolutely, it does happen. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it with these people. We need to head to break. When we get back, mailbag. Get your questions in the chat. Terry and I will answer. I hope all of you are having a fantastic Thursday. But before you go, make sure you hit the gym. And that gym is Planet Fitness. Take your fitness seriously. Your fitness is essential, both mental and physical health. It's $0 down, $10 a month. It's the way to get started at Planet Fitness. Go to the gym like I do. It's very important for you. It helps relieve all the stress. And again, when you work with people like I work with, like Maddie, like Fish, you need to go to the gym and just take a break. So guys, get to Planet Fitness. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, and we'll see you in a bit.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Detroit sports by Detroiters and for Detroiters. This is Detroit Sports Network. This is Woodward Sports.
Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on time and on budget, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rents has you covered. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there's nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
All right, mailbag. We'll start with Jack Harrington. Adam, why are you such a boomer? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. I am young as hell. Just turned 28.
He also wants to know if me and Terry get sick days for putting up with you. That should be in my contract.
I mean, it should be flipped. I should get sick days for dealing with you and Fish.
But you know what? She's educating you. You didn't know about. You didn't know about.
You gonna learn today.
Pizza.
You didn't know about Hump
Conies.
Wednesday or Hump Day.
Friday
You didn't know about Friday
Thank
Eve.
God I didn't know about
You didn't
these
know
things.
about Coney Island.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're so upset.
Pizza.
You haven't experienced life the way that it's supposed to
He
be.
just sits in his cave.
I'm not
If
upset.
you said
Were you
Happy
homeschooled?
Friday Eve,
I wasn't, no.
or you said Happy Friday instead of It's Friday, I'm here to talk about sports. I'm Adam. I hate everybody.
Sports.
And I think Jared Goff sucks balls.
All right, so here we go. Adam, have you ever had an A&W root beer float? Yes, I have. See, I've lived life a little bit.
Oh,
All
you
right.
did it!
All right, I've lived life a little bit.
Too
He
bad
probably
those places
spit
like
it out.
aren't around here anymore.
Huh?
Is there even A&Ws around anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
there's a
not many.
few.
There's one in
Fairly.
Berkeley.
One in
Okay.
Berkeley,
Really?
too.
Yeah. Well, I don't. You know, it may not be Berkeley. It might be Southfield. It's on Greenfield. 12 Mile in Greenfield is an A&W.
Oh, God.
My local A&W.
Spencer said, I heard Adam shoots from the ladies' tees.
Oh, God. What is it?
Technically, those are not the ladies' tees. Those are the beginner tees.
Oh, Terry,
play,
those are fighting words.
Yeah,
It depends on the
a shot
course, but
too.
I always play the second.
You play the whites.
I play the
Yeah,
whites.
it's the
The
whites.
second
That's what I play,
tee
the
below
whites.
the gold or the black. It depends on the course. Yeah, I'm not playing at pro tees yet. I'm not good enough. Not good enough. Getting pretty good, but not good enough yet.
Even the Geico a caveman plays from the tips.
Ooh. Hell yeah. Well, if you were on death row and you had to pick your last meal, what would it be? I have a feeling Fish would pick chicken tenders and fries. Maddie is picking spaghetti with gravy
Why
on
are
top.
you just putting words? You're not letting us pick?
I'm asking. This is
Jesse-
the comment.
No, Jesse put this in there, in the thing.
I want to know what you got. What's your last meal?
My last meal?
Yeah, if you're gonna die.
His would definitely be chicken fingers and fries.
Or hot dog. You can go off a good hot dog.
I think I'd have fried shrimp.
Hot dog with the snap. Oh,
I'd probably
the
have.
snap.
Oh,
Yeah, I love
actually,
those.
also R.I.P. Mr. Da Francesco passed away this week, but I would have lobster ravioli from Da Francesco's.
Ooh, good choice.
I
So
would
good.
I would die for crab mac and cheese in Boston. I don't know if you guys
Okay.
ever been to Boston, but some of the best seafood you can have. It would probably be like crab mac and cheese with a steak or something. I don't know.
Good.
I have been to Boston, and I've had some delicious seafood there. In fact, one of my trips that I want to do that my family doesn't want to do with me
Just go
is
by
I want
yourself.
to I want to travel up Maine and along the coast and get some lobster and have fun and maybe even check out the the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Ooh.
Couple games. I would like to do that, but there's stuff I want to do. My family is like, no, we're not doing that.
All right,
Too
pizza
boring.
with steak and bacon, scallop, risotto. I'm not a risotto guy.
I'm not either.
I don't like risotto. My wife
can't get
likes
behind it.
Meh. It's meh for me. It's meh.
But if I'm dining on a Tuesday, I'm eating tacos, of course.
How do you not?
Let's see what other
Taco
questions.
Tuesday with margarita.
Spicy Marg from Bakersfield in Detroit.
There you
Ooh.
go. There you go. Adam, do you like tennis? I do. I actually played tennis in high
Oh
school.
yeah. French Open starts Sunday, by the way.
I know. I was quite the tennis player actually.
Did you know that Spencer was a swimmer?
Spencer was a swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fish was a wrestler.
No, that's actually true. Spencer was
No,
a
no,
swimmer.
like Fish could have been a wrestler. They have a 95-pound division.
The 50-pound division.
50.
Maybe
God damn it.
25.
All right, what other questions do we have in the
50's
chat
too
this
steep. We
morning?
got to go down to the 25 weight class.
Oh God.
Fish and I went out the other night.
Oh, we did.
And we had the same meal.
How do you not?
Where do you get your tacos from, or where are your favorite taco? What's your favorite taco spot in Detroit?
Me?
Yeah,
Bakersfield.
I would agree. Bakersfield,
It's
Midtown.
so good.
Midtown, it's so good. Guacamole dip, by the way, 10
They've
out of
got
10.
queso with short rib. Ooh.
Lobster
Now,
mac and cheese is good as well.
I went to Bakersfield, and guess what they didn't have?
The
food.
Oh.
They ran out of food. So I'm like, forget these guys.
Well, forget the food. Have you tried their spicy margs?
I've had that. So
They come in a pitcher.
But what time are you going there? Like 2, 3 a.m. or are you going there like 2, 3 in the afternoon?
It was 6:30.
Oh, okay.
And it was COVID related. You had to have a reservation, and they only had enough food for the people who had reservations. Like you couldn't just walk in and get a taco. So I go to this other place.
Kind of smart.
Condado or
Condado.
Condado, yeah. So I go there. The
Yeah,
one
that
in
place is good, too.
Midtown.
All right, Adam and Terry. Who is the second best wide receiver in Lions history? I feel like that's an easy one.
It
It
is.
should be Herman Moore without question.
It
I don't think
is.
Johnny Morton or really any of these guys sniff up to Herman
No,
Moore.
Herman Moore.
Herman Moore was the
the-
one up until Calvin. So we
Right.
have to remember that.
He was the Lions' big receiver, even though he's a midget compared to Calvin Johnson. Herman Moore would tell. He said even before Calvin took a snap, this guy's going to be better than me.
100%.
So it's Herman Moore.
All right, question from Jesse Adams. Everyone, if aliens came down to Earth to talk to us, who's the one person on Earth you would choose to talk to them on Earth's behalf? Interesting. I would send Fish. There's no way they could eliminate everybody on Earth because of Fish. They
Why?
would look at Fish and be like, oh my God, look at this guy.
He said, what a sweetie pie.
What a sweetie pie.
We can't destroy this.
And they would spare us all. I'm sending Fish. That's what I'm sending. Would
Okay.
you be upset if the Pistons got Johnny Davis at 5? It's too early for me to be complaining about who they get at 5. Probably 3-4 weeks leading up to the draft. We'll probably get more in depth with the NBA draft.
I'm going to predict in 3 or 4 weeks, if they pick Johnny Davis, you will be upset.
Probably.
You'll bitch about it and complain.
Probably.
And
Why
so
isn't
will I.
Herman Moore in the Hall of Fame?
Why isn't he?
Yeah.
That's a good question. One, I think because he played for the Lions. B, because he played for the Lions. Herman Moore should be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't believe so. I'll tell you why. You know, we look at Sterling Sharp, his apex. It was very... You could compare it to Herman Moore's. The problem is...
So you're going to tell me why Herman Moore should not be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I'll tell you why.
All right, I want to hear this.
Unfortunately for Herman, he didn't go out on top or in the apex of his career. And I think that matters. And I think they hold it against him. Because after his last 1,000-yard season in 97, he went from 98 to 2002, injury-riddled, in and out of the lineup, with a total of 10 touchdowns in a 5-year span. Again, I understand during his apex was one of the best receivers in the NFL. And I think that should be remembered. And to be honest with you, if I had a vote, I would eventually cave in and give him a vote into the Hall. The problem is his first 5 years in the NFL, or excuse me, his first 3 years in the NFL and his last 5 years were underwhelming. And then he had a 5-year stretch where he was just really damn good. And it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one. I understand why he's not.
But you said Sterling Sharp, based on just 6 years, should be in.
But those 6 years were consistent.
So if Herman Moore just played 5 years,
I think
according to you, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
In context, yes, right? Because context matters. If he only gave you 6 years in the NFL and he was amazing, all-pro half of the time, you would be like, holy hell, the guy was great, but he retired early because of neck issues. But that wasn't Herman Moore's story. So they're two different stories, and I think the story of an individual matters too. He whether it's right or wrong, I think Herman Moore is a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver. I think eventually he probably can and should get in, but I understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame. I really do, and I think that matters.
The thing that happened to Herman Moore later in his career, yes, there were injuries, but there were times when he was healthy too. The Lions always, during his apex, called the fade route when they got into the red zone. When Matt Millen became the general manager, they refused to call that play. He'd have single coverage. He'd have a 5'3" DB on him, and they still wouldn't call the play.
All right. Well, let's continue that Herman Moore conversation tomorrow. It's actually really interesting.
Hall of Fame Herman.
All-county swimmer, Spencer Raxter.
Yeah. Whatever. BS. I call BS. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. I got to get the hell out of here. I'm late for a meeting. Have a great rest of your day. Maddie, go to hell.
Go watch PGA Championship golf today.